Hello, my name is Ben.
And my name is Josh.
And welcome back to the FPL Graduates YouTube channel. Again, another FPL Fridays, isn't it? Oh, getting up Josh's team a bit too early there. How are we feeling about this week? We've had a monster game week last week. We got a blank game week this week. So we're looking forward to it, right?
Yeah, loads of points on offer. I know we've got really high scores this week to show you, so it's going to be good. We've got an old faithful on as well. We've got Glen on because I know he's been in my ear about beating this trivia score, so he's going to have a test today.
Great to be back yet again. I could see Ben couldn't wait to bring back the teams, man. I can tell you've scored very well, so I'm happy to be back again. Let's see how it goes, man. One game week to go, man. Flew past. Man.
Yeah, I mean, so we all know, right? You support Arsenal. So should we talk about the best Arsenal assets? Is there any Arsenal assets at all? You know?
Yeah, actually, surprisingly, I actually have a couple. One of them is Smith Rowe. All of a sudden, he started scoring goals and I'm giving assists. I like the way he always literally attacks. Usually our midfielders now. This is the one thing with Arsenal. For the last 4 or 5 seasons, we've never had midfielders who score goals. I think when Duzi finished his Arsenal career with 1 goal, Torreira with 1 goal, the likes of Tobias have never scored a goal. So having a midfielder like Smith Rowe, someone who can score a goal, I think is a very good option. Plus, we have Crystal Palace and Brighton in the next 2 weeks. Even if he doesn't start both, I think he'll start one. But I actually think he'll start both since we're not going to sign Tobias and Odegaard. So there's no point of playing players who are going to leave in the next week. So I think they better start Smith Rowe in the likes of Saka because they're going to be here next season. So I'm going to go with Smith Rowe. I don't think there are any others, by the way, just to bring that up again as well. I would have said Lacazette, but he hasn't started, but I think he'll start against Palace.
Yes, and I like Smith Rowe. He's the joint top point scorer, this week. So a lot of people, I know FPL Viking, who we've had on in the past, had him in his team. He's 0.8 ownership or something like that. It's mental in the top 10K, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty bleak in terms of other Arsenal assets, I guess, because, expected so much more of Aubameyang and just hasn't clicked for him this season.
Yeah, it's been a terrible week. There's actually defenders like Holding who've performed better than Aubameyang in most of the weeks, so that shows it. Plus, the likes of Tierney have been injured for half of the season. Partey in midfield. There's a time we've owned the likes of Bissouma, and Anguissa, Ben would know about that. So owning Partey would have been great, but he's also been injured for most of the season. Plus, he can't shoot on target, so it's only Smith Rowe. I own Saka, but he never really scores goals, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we'll go into a review of the last game week, and we'll go straight into yours, Josh. Talk us through how your game week 35 went.
Yeah, so overall 106 of a -8, so we came out at 98 overall, but I'm counting it as a 100 score just for the lols. Henderson in goal, I brought him in for Emi Martinez on just a -4 hit. Obviously didn't pay off, but prior to that, Villa hadn't kept a clean sheet in 7 games, whereas Henderson had 3 games to go to get something from, which he let me down, to be honest. I weren't happy with it, but we'll move on. Trent, 2 assists, and obviously the clean sheet in the first game. Very happy. Since I brought him in, I think he's only blanked once, so that's just really good. Holgate with 1 of the clean sheets. He obviously came off Yerry Mina in the first game. Shaw was the most disappointing player. He's just not been getting those assists. He creates chances, but no one's getting on the ends of his crosses, which is disappointing. Salah, not too great. You're expecting probably more than 13 points in a double game week from someone of his price, 12.5 million, but you'll definitely take it. Bruno Fernandes, captain, 19 points, the joint top scorer with Greenwood and Emma Smith-Rowe, as we just mentioned. Lingard, been blanking a little bit. I reckon he's going to come into form this week, though. Definitely get a return this week. Jota, very nice goal in that game, for the 4-2 game. Zaha, robbed. Should have had 2 assists at the minimum, and he just doesn't get involved. I'd just be much more happier if I owned Benteke or Eze. They seem like everything goes through those two more so. Iheanacho, 9-pointer, nice way to leave the team. And Harry Kane with a blank as well, which wasn't ideal. That Keenan Davis has outscored him this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad week in all in all. I imagine that was a grey arrow, maybe.
Yeah, and literally no rank moving at all.
It's crazy. Glenn, what do you make of Josh's team?
Did you actually bring in Zaha this week?
Yeah, he brought him in. Like he was part. I made 4 transfers, with 2 of them being free. So he was part of that.
So just imagine you brought in Eze instead of Zaha. The rank climb would have been very high. So are you looking to keep all those players till the end of the game week, or the others 2 or 3 players you're looking to sell?
Yeah, I've made a couple transfers already. To be honest, I think Zaha will be probably gone. I think after the Villa game, the Palace's fixtures get a bit nasty, so he'll be one to look at getting out, and maybe a couple of others as well. That I think is it Everton. I think Everton have a couple of good fixtures. They're similar to Palace, and they go on a nasty run at the end. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, that's a great team. Though. That's a great team, but I'm aware like you might have to get rid of the likes of Zaha and Fernandes, since obviously United's focus will be on the Europa League, and Zaha, we only brought him in for the Sheffield United game and he didn't do anything. So I think it's a decent team. Could have been better if we made a 50-50 decision better, but yeah, that's just how FPL works.
Yeah, let's get my team up then. Bit better than Josh's this week, 125 points on the bench boost. So started off in goal, Mendy, penalty save, 11-pointer. You just can't complain about them ones. I was loving life after that first game. Then didn't play the second game. Same with Rudiger, didn't play the second game either. It's a bit disappointing. And then Shaw as well. I mean, disappointing start from those 2 defenders. But Lucas Digne, what a transfer in he was. Got 2 clean sheets, got a couple of bonus points on the way. Absolutely buzzing with that. In midfield, Bruno Fernandes, Salah and Jota. The Red Wall, the kings of this game week. Wow. I mean, in that game, it was crazy. Lingard with the 1 point, a bit disappointing. Watkins as well, unlucky to be red carded, man. I mean, one of them was that happens. Since I'd brought him in, he'd 3 or 4 game weeks of just consistent points. So, you know, we'll take the -1 and we'll be back for the next game week. Iheanacho and Kane up top. I mean, Iheanacho did well for me again. Kane, bit less so. And then on the bench, another penalty saving Fraser Forster, Ward-Prowse and Cody blank each, and then Stuart Dallas with a goal against Spurs. I mean, it doesn't get too much better than that. 125 points, 100k rank climb. I'm buzzing about it.
Honestly, man, 2 penalty saves in the week. You when you have jam on toast, mate, it's about this thick. It's craziness.
I've had one. I've had 1 penalty save in the last 2 seasons. He's had 2 in 1 week. Very lucky. Very good team though. Were you hopeful, or did you actually 100% think Forster would start both games?
I knew Forster would start both games. Hasenhuttl confirmed it 1 or 2 weeks before. How he was going to rotate his goalkeepers, and then leading up to the game he said, I might change it, but I knew he was going to play Forster over both of them. And I mean, I'm reaping the rewards of that now for playing a bench boost. I imagine a lot of people benched him who didn't have the bench boost, so that really did help a lot with the rank.
Okay, last question on Digne. Did you consider any other Everton defenders? Was it like Digne only, or did you consider the likes of Holgate?
I considered Coleman, but Digne, for me, he was the player that was most likely to start out of that back 4. And I've seen Everton rotate their defence. Josh knows for sure as well, with his defender rotated, that no one's really guaranteed to start apart from Lucas Digne, and he holds the most attacking threat. So it was worth paying that bit extra money for him in the end. Okay, so have we got Glen's team ready to come up?
Yeah,
this week?
Should be on my one.
There we go.
So talk us through it, Glen.
So just like Ben enjoying the Mendy penalty save, 11 points. I didn't expect Aguero to miss that penalty. That was so welcoming, that penalty save. 11 points, obviously played only 1 game. He probably would have got another 2-3 points against Arsenal, but I'll take that. And then Kufal at the back. He had a chance, man, cleared off the line. I'd counted it, man, against Everton. He was such a good chance. I like the way he's bombing forward. He's definitely a consideration for next season from game week 1. He's one of the players I'm going to consider from game week 1 next season. Same with the guy next to him, Stuart Dallas. Always scores. I think this is the first time he scored while in my actual team. The 3-4 goals he scored in the last 10 weeks, he's been on my bench or not on my team. So I'd definitely take that 9 points against Tottenham as well. We all enjoy a goal against Tottenham. Dunk, scored in the first half. I brought him in a couple of weeks ago because I knew he's very good from headers, and he did score. Surprisingly, when I was not watching the game, he actually managed to score a goal. And then in the second half, when I was watching, when I turned on the TV, he picked up a red card, a very silly red card to pick up because that's an obvious red card. You would just let the guy run. And we never know whether Silva is going to score because he's not that good of a striker since he's joined Wolves. And then, Michael Keane, obviously Ben had the two Everton, the Digne defender had Keane, so another good option for this week. 2 clean sheets. Shaw very disappointing with 2 points. To be fair, I didn't expect Josh's team to keep any clean sheets against Liverpool, Leicester, or Villa, but attacking returns maybe, and he always picks up bonus points, so that was disappointing. Saka, as I said, he never scores goals, but managed an assist. Could have had a goal against West Brom. He was bombing forward so many times, and we could end up seeing him in that position next season, maybe in a back 5 or something. Fernandes captaincy, I'll take that. I didn't actually want him to score any more goals because a couple of people had him triple captained. Zaha, very disappointing. Another thing I hate about Zaha, no one of you has mentioned, the yellow cards. I hate it every time he fights the referee and players just to pick up silly yellow cards. I hate it because that 1 point could be the difference. So for him, I don't think he'll be in Crystal Palace next season. So thank goodness, because he'll never be in my team again. Cavani, 11 points as a sub against Villa, scored a goal. Happy with that. Watkins, as Ben said, -1, very disappointing. But I think -1 is not bad in this week. And then bench booster, Riola, Son, Kane, Jota, 20+ points. I'll definitely take that. If I didn't play my bench boost, for example, I wouldn't have had above 100 points. So good week to play the bench boost. But next season, I'm looking to be playing my bench boost early because I've noticed the moment it gets to like game week 29, and you don't have a place to play the bench boost literally. So you have to move things around. So gratefully or luckily, the triple game week fell, and I could play my bench boost luckily. So that was my game week, 120 points.
Again, and not a bad game week. Some good game weeks coming up. A lot of high points. Again, you probably be on the green arrow, and you and Josh are now competing to see who can.
You're saying that like a bad thing. You're saying that like a bad thing. Wait, are you like above? You're above, right? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I'm clear. I'm clear. Don't worry about that.
You can tell from his tone.
But yeah, we'll move on. It's time for Glen. He's been talking the talk all the time. He's been saying, "Look, guys, I'll beat that record. Don't you worry about it." And
I didn't actually say that. I said I'm going to try.
Have to build the suspense, Glen. Have to build the suspense. So yeah, it's that time. Josh, do you want to explain what the trivia quiz is?
Yeah, indeed. So basically, Glenn will have 60 seconds to answer as many questions to do with Arsenal and FPL as possible. You should play along in the comments, see how many you get. A highest score so far is joint. It's FPL companion Rob and Georgia. They both got 8. And then the lowest score we've ever had is a solid 0.5. So no pressure on that regards. And let's see how you do.
All right. Are you ready, Glenn?
Yep.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Which Arsenal player has the most FPL points this season?
Lacazette.
Correct. Which Arsenal player scored the most FPL points in game week 35?
Smith Rowe, 19 points.
Correct. And how many points did he get?
19 points.
Correct. Who is the highest owned Arsenal asset on FPL?
Saka.
Correct. How many Premier League goals does Aubameyang have this season?
It's a tough one. 10.
Correct. How many clean sheets do Arsenal have this season in the Premier League?
11.
Correct. Which player has the most yellow cards for Arsenal this season in the league?
Bellerin.
Correct. Arsenal's next Premier League fixture is against Crystal Palace, but what was the score the last time the two sides met?
Man, 1-1.
0-0. What position are Arsenal in the league?
9th.
Correct. Who has more FPL points this season? Tierney or Pepe? We'll let your answers to draw level.
I thought this is to go ahead.
Tierney is correct. So that is that. Well, let's get VAR and see how many we got correct.
We'll let Ben do a count up because I thought that was to make it 9. I'm not gonna lie.
Seriously?
1, 2.
I'd be so happy, man.
We've gone VAR.
That was a tough one.
We've gone to VAR. And the new.
Hey, he's done it.
Come on. It's only right. It's only right I won it. I've been on this show for so many times.
The record had stood for so long.
It's just getting broken every week now.
Every week.
Yeah, I'm so happy. That has made my weekend, man. Some tough questions. I guess the Aubameyang one, I was not sure. I don't even know how many goals Lacazette is on right now. The clean sheet one, I know that Leonard's kept 10 and Ryan 1. There's another question that caught me off guard. I think the Tierney one and Pepe, and I didn't know that.
I thought the yellow card one would have got you. I thought you would have said Xhaka. It's
No,
an obvious one to say.
I actually know, being an Arsenal fan and doing the statistics video, I know that Bellerin I think he has the second most yellow cards in the Premier League this season, and he picked up the most yellow cards in the Premier League.
He's knowledgeable.
He's been reading up. He's been preparing.
I actually didn't know this, but thank you, man. I'm happy with that.
So yeah, we'll move on to the fixtures after that. 2 weeks in a row. It's too crazy, this FPL trivia. But yeah, we'll talk about fixtures. We'll go around and pick like a fixture each that we're looking forward to. Glen, as you're now the champion, you can go first.
Oh wow, that sounds great. This is how people feel. Okay, the fixture I'm going to go for is, I think it has to be West Brom against Liverpool. Liverpool, I remember the week where I think Josh captained Sterling and I captained Sterling the same week. I think there's a time Jesus was both in our teams as well. Arsenal managed to score 4 goals or 5 away at West Brom as well. Palace, Leeds all managed to score 5 goals away at West Brom. West Brom already relegated. They've already given up. We might even rotate. Liverpool, they need that top 4, and I think they'll get that top 4, just like Ben said earlier. I think they'll get that top 4, and I think they'll win this game by 4 or 5 goals. So I don't think Jota will start. So I think we'll consider Salah, Mane, maybe even Curtis Jones might start in this game if you want a differential, and then Robertson and Alexander-Arnold, absolutely. And I think they'll keep a clean sheet. So I'm going to go for West Brom nil, Liverpool 4, and I think Salah and Mane will deliver the goods in this one.
Yeah, this probably the standout fixture in terms of captaincy for sure. Ben, which one are you looking towards?
I'm liking the look of the Brighton West Ham game with the amount of injuries that Brighton have, the suspensions. I'm really liking how West Ham could attack this. A lot of people with Lingard in their teams, a lot of other differential players around there that could pop off this week. So I'm liking that. I know a lot of people on Twitter have said, look, they're not so reliant on individual players, Brighton, but they have the system. But when you have that many players out, that could be a big factor.
Yeah, I totally agree. For me, I'm going to go with 2 because I'm greedy. I'm going to pick the Everton-Sheffield United game because I think if you don't have any Everton players, you will seriously be struggling this week. Whether it's an attacker or defender, I think you need one of them for sure. The great fixture, Sheffield United, I think they haven't not conceded away from home in their last 7 games, I think I read earlier. So definitely one to look out for. And also I'm going to look towards tonight's game, Newcastle-Man City. Newcastle safe, City champions. Let's see what team Guardiola puts out. Could be Scott Carson. Could be anyone at this stage. Wouldn't even be surprised if Scott Carson's up front. They're just walking the league, aren't they? So, yeah, those 2 fixtures for me are probably the ones that I'd look towards.
Yeah, I like it. We'll move on into the game week 36 captain picks and team reveal. As you can see, scrolling along the bottom is the most transferred in players this week. A few surprises in there, a few that we probably knew was going to happen. We'll go into Josh, your team first.
Yep, it's all ready. If you can see it on screen.
There you go.
Awesome. So yeah, I am fielding 11 this week. I've took a -4 hit to do so. I could have fielded 11 without it, but it would have meant I was playing Keenan Davis, which I didn't really fancy. Areola in goal. I'm expecting absolutely nothing from him as Fulham are already down, but at least it's someone playing, and I already had him, so it weren't too much of an issue. Going with Trent captain for the 3rd time this season. It worked the first time. He scored that goal in the 90th minute. Second time, he conceded in the 90th minute. So who knows what's going to happen this time. I hope for big things. In my opinion, he's Liverpool's by far the most dangerous player at Liverpool right now. He's looking incredible, and he should be in the Euro squad for sure. Holgate, again, it's cover for Everton, so I can't really afford anyone like the Dignes, the Godfreys that everyone else has got. So I'm hoping he starts again ahead of Yerry Mina, who picked up that injury. Ben White's in there simply because I just haven't managed to get him out since about Gameweek 30 when Brighton played in the blank. And hey, it's someone playing. Brighton tend to be decent defensively, one of the best defenses in the team. But like Ben mentioned, they do have a lot of injuries and suspension. So we'll wait and see about that. Salah, West Brom away, probably going to be over 100% ownership in terms of the captaincy, effective ownership, that is. So we'll wait and see on that. Rafinha's one of the transfers I brought in this week. Differential at the minute, given his injury, and he's made a lot of room for that. A lot of money spare after these transfers I've made as well, because I've took Bruno out there. Lingard against Brighton away. Hopefully he can capitalise if Ben White does concede. If it is someone who's scoring, I hope it's Lingard. Jota played really well, I thought, against United. Whether he starts or not is going to be questionable because obviously what happened with Mane and obviously Firmino bagging those 2 goals. I don't think you drop him either. Zaha, if he doesn't score or do something, I'll be very disappointed because he owes me something for bringing him in last week. Aguero's my other transfer in. I've just gone for it. I really love the guy. He's a top goal scorer and a top player. So the last 3 games, hopefully he plays all 3, and I hope he scores some goals. He loves a game against Newcastle. I'm not sure if you remember when he scored it was a hat trick or maybe even 4 goals against Newcastle like a season or 2 ago. It was absolutely mental. And then obviously Harry Kane as well. My only Spurs coverage. No Son probably will hurt me. It's hurt me throughout this whole season. So nothing really changes there. But yeah, what do you think, lads?
I think that's a very good team. You're actually very right about Aguero. I think he scored the most goals against Newcastle in his career in England. I think like 12 or something. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's going to start 100%. You never know who's going to play today, as you said. Carson could be up front. It will be very interesting because they have a Champions League final coming out, so they could just decide to rest everyone in this coming game. So I think that's a decent team. Zaha as well, very, very lucky to still be there. I think that is a decent team, though. I think for 2 game weeks, you can try anything with 2 game weeks remaining. So I think it's a decent team.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm liking a couple of the picks in there. Apprehensive towards Zaha, I think, for obvious reasons. I think you probably were when you brought him in, to be honest. But yeah, Aguero, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing? It's just like, I mean, like I said to you earlier that I'd probably back that a lot more if he scored that penalty against Chelsea. But because he didn't, is that going to affect him getting more penalties in the future? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And you know,
the future is 1 game week from now, baby.
Yeah, he's a sort of player who you don't know whether he's even going to start. You know, he's got like 28 points over this whole season. So yeah, that's what my thoughts are.
I'll tell you why you could see him. I'll tell you why you could see him, because he's 1 goal away from a record. I think Rooney's record of scoring most goals for 1 team. So I think they'll try and get him a goal, basically.
Yeah. Okay. We've got Glen's team here. Let me just bring that up for you. There we go. I think you should be able to see it now. Talk us through your team, Glen. How's it shaping up?
So just like Josh said, I'm not expecting anything from Ariola, but he's the only available goalkeeper. As you can see, Mendy's on the bench. As we were live on this show, I've taken a -4. Yep, the third -4 this season. The 4th in my FPL career ever in the 5 years I've played. And that is stones for dunk, because I had 10 players, so I had to get one out. So I've taken out Bruno Fernandes for Mane, and you can see the captaincy is on him. And Stones for dunk. I think Stones didn't play the last game, so I'm hoping he plays, but no guarantee he plays. It could be Ake and Laporte in that position. I'm definitely keeping Koufal. I'm expecting big things from him against Brighton. Keane as well. Everton against Sheffield should be a clean sheet. I'll be very, very disgusted if they concede to Sheffield. Jota is playing, but I don't think he'll start this game week, unfortunately, but he has to start. I'll take the 1 point even if he comes on. Zaha will remain there, but unfortunately, I don't think he'll return too many points, and I'll take him out after this week. Son has to be there. Kane has to be there. They've been brilliant this season. Personally, I'd put them in my FPL or team of the season, Premier League team of the season. And then on the bench, as you can see, the likes of Cavani and Saka, those ones will go out in the next couple of days, hopefully before the next game week. And Watkins is back, so let's see how he does. Will he even start, or did Davis play well for Aston Villa? If Davis played well, he may get another chance, but I think Watkins will come in since they're kind of fighting for top 10. So that's my team. -4, Mane in captaincy straight away, and I think that's the first time I've captained him this season, and Stones at the back.
Yes, it's looking decent for sure. Mane is going to be such an interesting one. Just seeing how Liverpool line up will be interesting, to be honest, because arguably all 4 of them have got a reason why they should be starting. So maybe he goes to the 4-2-3-1 that we've seen before. I like Stones as well. Again, it's risky. All Man City players, no matter who you bring in right now, is risky. So you may as well play the game. It's the last few game weeks of the season, and similar to my Aguero pick, like, you never know what will happen, so why not just go for it if you're not really playing for too much? So yeah, what do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I'm concerned about the Mane pick. I think I don't know why, I just am. I'm concerned. I think the Stones pick is a very smart choice, though. I do believe that City will go full strength in this game. I can see the reasons behind it is they need to, play the first team more consistently in the build up to the Champions League final. I think the weekend before the Champions League final, I don't know when that is, whether that's game week 38 or 37. They'll rest players then, but they will want to play their full strength team from now until the Champions League final, just so they have game time. So
who would you captain in that team?
In that team, I'd captain probably Kane or Son, because I know that they're they're definitely going to start, right? I'd just be concerned about what happened after the game on the other day. Well, was it yesterday?
Mm-hmm. It's a couple of days.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, I think it's a very strong team otherwise. You got good players with good fixtures for the rest of the season. So I'd be pretty confident going into this game.
As Josh always says about the captaincy thing, that shows you how many points you scored of the captaincy. My captaincy always deliver against West Brom. Usually they say when you're playing Sheffield United, captain a player who's playing Sheffield United. For me, that's West Brom. I think Jesus Gundogan, I remember he's scoring like 2 goals. They didn't own him that week. Lacazette, I captained him when he played West Brom. He delivered. So Bamford as well. So I think let's hope even if Mane plays for 30 minutes, he gets a goal.
Yeah. We'll bring up my team. I've got similar thoughts to Glen in terms of my captaincy pick and picking that particular team of West Brom. But yeah, I've also taken a -4 this week. I've brought out Mendy and brought in Meslier, and I've taken out Iheanacho for Antonio. So yeah, starting goal Meslier. I brought him in, double up on the Leeds defence because I think they've got really good fixtures and they've shored up a lot more defensively. I think they're unlucky probably not to keep a clean sheet against Spurs. So goes to show that they are improving. Digne in there, he's going to be fantastic again. I'm hoping that we can see an attacking return maybe in a double-digit haul for the second week in a row. Cody was the only one that I was unsure about playing this week from my FPL team, because I was tempted to take another -4 to bring in a Liverpool player and drop Cody to the bench, but I'm going to keep with it because I've only got Harry Kane. So if Spurs do blank, I'll be probably looking quite good. In the midfield, I got Ward-Prowse. Obviously, I brought him in for last week. Fulham at home is not a bad fixture to have. Salah captain, West Brom away, best attacker against the worst defence. Simple as. I like in the look of Lingard as well this week, and Jota. Could see him play, could see him bench. We never know. And then up front, we got Watkins back. He's going to be fresh. I'm hoping he scores against Palace, just to try and prove a point. Something like that happens to a player, they either kind of shy away or they go and score a couple of goals. So I'm hoping he does that. Kane vice against Wolves, and then Antonio as well to round off the team. I'm liking the look of it. There's 1 or 2 in there that I'm thinking might not get too many points, but I'm hoping that we see a good points return this week. What are we saying about it?
I'll compliment you and judge you for 2 options there. The first compliment, just like you complimented me on Stones, it's going to be Ward-Prowse. I think Southampton had to be careful not to end the season just losing. It can carry on to the next season. So since they won the last game, very good victory. I don't remember which team they played. I think Palace, very good victory. They were going to try and win this as well, just to climb the table, at least finish 12th, 13th, and not 17th. They are 17th this season. There's a time they are top of the table. So Ward-Prowse is a very good pick. I can see them going full strength, and Fulham already given up. The likes of Lookman already looking to leave the team. The likes of Loftus-Cheek going back to Chelsea. So I don't think Fulham will give 100%. So Ward-Prowse is a good option. And then Cody, though. Wolves' defense this season has been really, really terrible. And the one thing I don't like about Cody, I don't think he goes forward for corners. I usually don't like that. I think ball usually goes and slides, and Cody's the one who actually remains behind. So that's why I usually don't like him as an asset, because he never goes forward for corners. And the one time he went forward for England, I remember he scored a goal for England on his debut. So that's funny to me. So Cody, I don't think is the best of options unless they keep a clean sheet, which I don't think they'll do this week. So Cody will give you a nice -2 this week.
I really hope he scores now. But yeah, I get what you're saying about him not going up for corners. But last week he was going up for corners. Bolly's injured, I think.
He should be back. He should be back for Tottenham, I think. Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, it's the one I'm not too confident on, but I don't really want to take another hit to bring anyone else in. So I'm probably just stuck with him for this week, and we'll see what we're saying after. I imagine he'll be on the bench after this week anyway. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. I'm not too confident, but we move. We'll move on to the differential picks of the week. So going for a player under 10% owned and explaining why you think they're going to do well this week. Josh, do you have a differential ready?
Yeah, I'm just going to go with a Leeds defender. I think there's quite a few. I've been speaking to a few people about the Leeds defence, and they can't quite afford Dallas and stuff like that. So I'll give two, because I mentioned one on Glen's live stream that we did earlier. Alioski and Diego Llorente. Llorente plays pretty much all the time. I'd arguably say he's probably their best centre-back, or most nailed centre-back, should I say. And then Alioski's got a bit of attacking threat down that left side. So if you don't feel like they're going to keep a clean sheet, maybe go for Alioski as your pick from that Leeds defence if you can't afford Dallas.
Yeah, I like that. Glen, do you have a differential that you'd like to say?
Yeah, what we do, the FPL graduates, we have so many options. We don't even give the same options. So I'm not going to go with the one it said earlier on the channel. So I'm going to go for Lanzini. Got injured last week. He's been starting the last couple of games for West Ham. So which means, again, just like Cresswell, it creates an opportunity for another person. Bowen has been sitting on the bench, surprisingly, I think, for the last 3 game weeks. I think he'll be back for this one. I remember Ben fancied him a couple of weeks ago alongside Lingard. I think Bowen will be back. I think he's owned by under 5%, and I think he'll score against Brighton this week. They have to go for it. They have to go for a top 4 finish this season. So I think he'll be there with Lingard and Antonio.
Yeah, my differential is pretty similar to Glen's this week. 7.5% owned. I've just noticed he's gone up from, I think it was 6.5 about an hour ago. So people were bringing him in and people were seeing it. Michel Antonio of West Ham United. I mean, he's come back from injury and he's been very unlucky not to have scored in both the games that he's played since he's been back. He scored, 2 against Burnley. Unlucky not to score against Everton, and I think he could be back to what we saw him earlier on in the season, and his form that he was showing. I mean, at one point he was just scoring every single week without fail, wasn't he? So I'm going to go for Antonio. I think he's going to do well this week, and I think he's going to do well for the rest of the season, because after Brighton, West Ham have West Brom and Southampton. So those are 2 nice fixtures to end the season. So I'm going to back Antonio as my differential of the week.
Yeah, some solid picks. Hopefully Antonio doesn't bring his breadstick hamstrings back with him this time, because that's always been the issue with him. He's always been in this great form, but getting injured. So hopefully doesn't get injured for this last little stint of the season.
Yeah, a lot of West Ham picks there. Yeah, a lot of West Ham picks. We'll take some of your questions in now that you guys have been saying. Shiv's asking, I'm guessing transfer Iheanacho to Antonio. Yeah. I mean, since I've been talking about it, I'm going to say, yeah, good move. That's the one I've done this week.
No-brainer. Iheanacho didn't even play this week, so.
Here's another one. Richarlison or Antonio? Lots of Antonio questions this week.
What are you saying, Glenn? Which one you pick?
I know Antonio is such a good option, but I think Richarlison against Sheffield, I think it's going to be like a 5-0 in that game. I think Sheffield have nothing to fight for at all. Antonio is playing against a couple of teams that, like Southampton, will be trying to win the next few weeks. And I think West Ham, Brighton, I think they're also trying to finish like 11th or 12th or something at least. So I think Richarlison has the capability of scoring 2 goals and Antonio 1. So I'd personally go for Richarlison. Plus Antonio's injuries, that's another worry.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think if you're choosing between Everton and West Ham, the fixtures this week, you've definitely got to go towards the Everton fixture just because they're facing Sheffield United. And as you mentioned, they could concede a lot. They don't look good at all since that new manager's come in. So, yeah, I'd opt for Richarlison too.
Digne or Sigurdsson, if you're going to bring in an Everton asset, I'm going to personally say Digne because he's probably more likely to start and play. And, you know, potential of going forwards, he's quite good. I don't know how you guys feel.
I agree too. I think Digne with it's like Sigurdsson, I was looking at him, getting him this week. 1, he doesn't play in 90 minutes a lot, and 2, Digne's got that clean sheet potential as well as probably the same amount of attacking potential that Sigurdsson has. He might not get as many set pieces because James Rodriguez is back, but I still think Digne down the left side will cause a bit of havoc for Sheffield United.
And I think he started against Villa and didn't play very well, so he might look to start the likes of Iwobi this time.
Yeah, we're looking at this one. Captain Salah or Kane, and who should I start between Guaita and Martinez? That's the big call this week. The Salah or Kane for captaincy, isn't it?
Yeah, personally, I think it's always got to be on Salah over Kane. Kane's blanked the last 2 game weeks and also facing a better team in Wolves. I think Salah, although he's returned quite consistently, but not necessarily a lot. I think that's why not a lot of people are flocking to him like they usually do. So, but yeah, definitely Salah for me. What are you thinking, Glenn?
Definitely Salah again. West Brom. West Brom already done for the season. Players are looking to leave. The likes of Pereira looking for transfers already. That would be my option. Salah 100%. In another week, I actually do prefer Kane. Usually go for Kane ahead of Salah in my team. But I'd go for Salah for this week. West Brom, another 5 goals in that game.
Lewis asks, Captain DCL or Mahrez? Looks like he wants to go differential for the captaincy this week, but is unsure which player to take. Josh, what do you think? Which one's the better option? Do we trust Everton or Pep Roulette more?
It's difficult. I personally, I'm not a massive fan of DCL in that Everton team. He doesn't seem to score a lot. If he scores, he'll only score like the 1 goal maybe. Whereas Mahrez, we've seen numerous occasions he can be explosive. So I think if Mahrez doesn't play, I just don't see him coming on. So maybe that's a sort of a positive in the fact that if you captain him, it'll just go to your vice if he doesn't play. So I personally would lean towards Mahrez just for a bit of fun, and I think Mahrez has got a higher ceiling when he does play than DCL. What do you think, Glenn?
Calvert-Lewin. It's Sheffield United. It's Mahrez. If he starts, he'll bang.
He's hating on those relegation teams right now.
I don't think he'll play 90 minutes. Mahrez.
So Shiv wants to do Iheanacho to Antonio and Rudiger to Mitchell. Should you do it?
No.
I'd say the Antonio one's probably justified.
Yeah.
Whether the Mitchell one is, I think Mitchell plays this week, but he might not play the following weeks because Van Aanholt's got family issues, so he's not playing this week, and there's an illness as well, left back. So he starts this week.
Yeah. I think you can go to a Leeds defender for that amount of money. I'm not sure what Mitchell is, 3.8. For 4.2, you could definitely get a Leeds defender, I'm pretty certain.
I think they'll lose that game to Villa, and I think he'll only score 1 point. So -4, I don't think it will return for you. So maybe any other option, as Joshua said, 4 million or something.
Okay, we'll take one more question. We'll take one more question. The big one this week, I think we'll let Glen answer this one. Stones or Diaz?
Like 100%. Diaz didn't start against the team they played last week. I think he got 1 point last week. Diaz. I don't even remember which team they played, but I know he got 1 point. So I don't think he started. And Stones didn't start. I think the last 3 games Stones have started 1. So I think he'll definitely start this. So not definitely. You can't say definitely with Pep Guardiola, but I think he starts this one and Diaz gets rested, and then maybe Diaz starts the next one. Stones gets rested, so I'd go for Stones. Attacking potential. There's a time Stones and Diaz had they had scored more goals between them than the goals they had conceded as a team. So that was crazy. So I'm going to go for Stones. This has been a very good option this season.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Glenn. We're gonna go off now because it's 5 minutes till deadline. We want you guys to make sure you sort out your teams rather than watching us waffle on about who we think is going to score more points this week. As per usual, thank you, Glenn, for coming on the show today. We've left his links in the description down below. Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to my family for this FPL Fridays award, and say thank you to all the people who've helped me this, my producer, everyone who's helped me through this. So thank you for having me on again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I don't know whether we're ever going to see anyone beat that score of 9. The levels have been heightened. The levels have been heightened. But yeah, as per usual, please like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, and I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
I've been Glenn.
And we'll see you guys
later. Have a good game week.